Making sardine bread at home is as simple as ABC. Hi Faves, let me show you how to make it. When you make this sardine bread at home, everyone is going to love it and ask for more. Like, it is so delicious, so yummy, and very easy to make. You should definitely try this recipe, Faves. Everyone in your house is going to love it and be hooked on it. All right, let's get started. So to make the sardine bread, I'll be adding my sardine oil to some water, and I'll microwave it to make it warm. I'm using half cup of water. I'm also going to be using 250 grams of flour. I'm going to be using 40 grams of sugar and 2 tablespoons of milk. I'm also going to be using half teaspoon salt, and I'll be using 1 tablespoon yeast. I'm going to mix this thoroughly to combine and allow it to form a good relationship before I now go in with my half cup of water and oil. I'm going to add this gradually, and normally if you are kneading with your hands, it's a lot of stickiness and stress. But talk about the soft life. I also added 1 egg to this, okay? Talk about the soft life. I'll be using my Butcher Mix food processor to knead this, and the kneading came out way better than my hands could have ever done, and that's not even a cap at all. So I'm also going to be adding some butter to this. I'm using 40 grams of butter for this recipe. Okay, I'm going to continue to incorporate the butter into the old dough and make sure that what I get at the end is a sticky, stretchy, and elastic dough. I'm just going to continue to knead with my Butcher Mix food processor. If you're all about the soft life, if you're all about convenience, if you're all about ease and ease in the kitchen, no stress. Look at that, my dough has already been kneaded thanks to my Butcher Mix food processor. Look at it, it is stretchy, it is elastic, and it is just like perfect. Okay, so once this has been done, I'm going to take it out, and then you can see I'm going to use my hands to knead it a little bit. This one is just like a final thing. Yeah, it's not like I'm kneading afresh and trying to combine the flour and the dry mixture and everything. The food processor has already done that. If you are using your hands, if you don't have a food processor, it's also okay. So I'm going to mold this to look something like this, and then I'm going to mash my sardine. This is 1 sardine. Remember, we have used the oil for our bread so that it has that deep sardine bread flavor, right? That oil in the bread will give that bread that very deep sardine bread flavor. So once my dough has been slightly kneaded, now it's time for me to flatten my dough. I'm going to get a rolling pin and then apply some flour on that rolling pin so that it doesn't stick on the dough, and then I'm going to flatten it to look something like this. So once you get a flat dough and it is fluffy and not looking rough, you know that you are good to go. So just keep flattening out your dough like this, and then you are already good to go. It's always good to flour your surface so that your dough does not stick to the surface of the board that you are using. So right about now, what I'm doing is I'm applying those sardine goodness into my dough. All right, I've already kneaded the dough and I've already flattened it out. So what I'm doing right now is to apply those sardine yumminess in the dough. Just apply it all over the dough like this, just spread it as much as you can. If you are using 2 sardines, oh, that is good. But for this recipe, I would advise that you just use 1 sardine here, because that would suffice. Actually, you don't actually need to use 2 sardines for this recipe. So just take this all over that goodness and just spread it across so that everywhere you enter like this, everywhere you cut like this, it is sardine that will jam your mouth. Now roll this gently, fold it in gently like so, fold it in gently like so. You can be firmer with your folding or you can make it loose, whichever one. Just make sure that you roll it in completely like this. Once you get something that looks like this, you want to tuck in the sides inside so that it does not look like a donut abi. So you want to tuck in the sides in, just like I'm doing. Do the same, okay? Just tuck in the sides and then make it look like this, something like this. Once you get something that looks like this, you know that you're good to go. Just place this in your baking pan. your already buttered baking pan. You have to butter your baking pan so that it doesn't stick to it. Now add more of that sardine to it. This is what I was able to achieve. Okay, just add more of that sardine to your bread and then cover it and allow it to proof. It should proof for about an hour or an hour 30 minutes, depending on how warm or how cold where you are placing it. After then, you see my bread has proofed, and I'll proceed to be baking it in my preheated oven. I'm using the Buchi Mix air fryer oven, and I've already preheated it before now, so I'm just using the baking function. It's at 175 for 40 minutes. Okay, so 175 for 40 minutes here, and after then my bread is gonna be ready. Are you ready to see this goodness? Okay, so this is so nice. I think that you should definitely try this recipe, Faves. Everyone is going to love it and ask you for more. Like, everyone is going to love it. Like, it is so good. One thing I like to do when I'm baking bread is to ensure that my bread forms the shape of the pan. Once your bread forms the shape of the pan, you know you are good to go, good to go, good to go. And look at this, my sardine bread is ready. Very delicious, very yummy. Like, this is so good. Everyone should definitely try this recipe because it is easy to make and it will not stress you. So my faves, when you try this recipe, please tag me and let me know. Look at that. I'm just gonna cut this open so that you can see what I'm talking about. Look at that fresh yumminess, that fresh goodness. Are you sure you don't want to try this recipe? You should try it already. So when you try this recipe, Faves, don't forget to let me know, share, tag me, and all of that good stuff. Thank you so much for watching my videos. God will bless you and your family. Every like, every comment that you leave on my video, it means a lot to me. Bye, Faves.